Fill the Funnel Podcast with Jeff Swan
and Tom Slocum.
We're here to help you crush your targets
with tactical tips and insights you can act on today.
Don't have a fancy tech stack, a big budget, or even a huge team to lean on?
Well, it's time to get that solved today with FTF Fridays.
Hey everyone, welcome to Fill the Funnel Fridays with your hosts Jeff Swan and Tom Slocum.
Hey.
So Tom and I were checking out Instagram today and noticed that there was this really sweet video from Corporate Bro. If you don't follow him, you really should. Some kick-ass entertainment and some great lessons in there too. But this one is all about a botched cold call where a guy literally called a person that was sitting in a hospital bed with a catheter in, anyways, censored. And hilarity ensues. But what really got us thinking, and why I'm really happy that this post came up, because it got us thinking about, well, what exactly do you do when you botch a cold call? You know, a lot of people just stumble, they kind of give up and decide, hey, I'm just going to give up on this one. Sorry, man, bye-bye, and hang up, right? But there are ways to actually save and rescue a botched cold call. And I'm going to ask, Tom, since you're the cold calling superstar on this crew, I'm going to say, like, what do you do as a person cold calling when a situation like that happens? Maybe it's awkward, or maybe it's like anger or whatever. What do you do to save that botched cold call?
Well, you know, that happens early on for a lot of people in their sales career when they first get into cold calling, right? We have a lot of up and comers that are learning. You might have wrong data. You might say the wrong name. You might call somebody that is no longer in that company, hasn't been there in a year, right? A lot of that occurs, and it still occurs as you advance in your career. I still deal with some of those botches. Maybe you're distracted. You're scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, looking at Corporate Bro, and the phone answers, and you're like, oh, hey, Michael. And he's like, no, this is Jeff. Like, way to go, right? But the way that I've always approached it is through three things. One, be human, empathize. It's okay, right? Everybody does it. You don't lean into it and verify or validate that you botched it, right? Two, own it. Be confident in that mistake. And three, once you can own it, you bring in that aspect of humor, right? Like in the Corporate Bro video, if many of you got a chance to see it, the guy even asked him, can you call the front office for me and have my nurses get in here? And he was, and you know, the prospector, right, straight up was like, I'll do it. I'll call them. Like, wrote down the name of the hospital and was like, I'm gonna call them. I'll get them in there for you, right? Because they owned it and they knew where they were sitting at, right? You know, I don't like to bring this topic up, but I've had those calls where you call for a business owner and they passed away. I know everybody's had at least one of those phone calls where you call and you're like, oh, shoot. And they're like, yeah, sorry, they passed away.
Yeah.
But you don't just end that call. Every call and every connect means something, and it's okay to be human. And you're not going to win every call. Mm-hmm. Some are going to brush you off, but empathize. You know, let's role play it, right? Hey, is this Jeff or is this Michael?
No, this is Jeff. Who's this?
Hey, this is Tom. My apologies. I had Michael in the system under this number. Did this used to be his number by chance?
Yeah, you know what? He passed away, actually.
Oh, you know, Jeff, I'm so sorry to hear about that. You never know, right, when those kind of things happen. I do apologize. While I have you instead, I was hoping maybe you could help me out in trying to see who I could speak to that might have, you know, unfortunately filled his shoes, to where I could talk a little bit about, you know, what we do here. Right. So you just own it, you address it, you apologize, you empathize, and you keep going in the call. It's okay. It's not disrespectful. It's not impolite, but it's all about tonality. The only thing that we have in selling on the phone is our tonality. They can't see our facials. They don't know what we look like. So the biggest thing to help you connect with people is through that tonality. And so you have to emphasize, drop that in there. The death scenario is a little rough, but in the context of this hospital, right, you add humor to it. The guy complained that he's sitting in the hospital bed with a catheter where we all know it should be, right? And like the pain that he's going through, and he's like, call me back next week. Like, now's not a good time. And that's okay. You laugh with them, right? Maybe share a personal experience, make one up, right? Be relevant. Oh, Jeff, I had that happen to me a year ago, right? Like, you know what helped me get through that? Ice chips. I ate a lot of ice chips, right?
Right.
But while I have you, you mind if I send you a calendar invite for next week so we can, realign this, because I know you're probably doped up on a lot of drugs and not going to remember our call. So I'll shoot you an invite if you get a chance to see it. But I wish you the best, and I'll reach out to the company and see who I can talk to. Right.
See, that's cool. So like on the empathy thing, I'm just curious because on like the death scenario there, you talked about how you kind of didn't really mention why you got the wrong name or anything like that. Is that intentional?
Absolutely. You don't need to address it. It's irrelevant, right? Too many people think they have to address it and take it head on. Just blow past it, just like you would an objection, right? Too many people get hung up on the objection when they hear, I'm in a meeting, oh, now's not the right time. They feel they have to validate that or address that. Move on from it, right? Own it. People are going to give you that just because of a knee-jerk reaction. It's just how they're prone as soon as they hear the hi, my name is. Because anybody that calls you personal, right? If my friend calls me, he doesn't start every call with, hey, Tom, my name's Anthony. How are you? Or, hey, this is Jeff, right? It's, so as soon as you indicate that, they're already going to give you that knee-jerk response. And you don't need to tell them why you got the name wrong or anything of that. Just get right to the next point, because you still have them on the line and you still have only a few more seconds to capture their attention. So just go right into your next line. Oh, my apologies, Jeff. Sorry, I had Michael under the number. But while I have you, I was hoping to find out who I could speak to that might be, filled Mike's position or who handles this. Is that you? Actually, that is me. I took his position 6 months ago. Now you have an opportunity to have a conversation, whereas if you just addressed it and like freaked out and were like embarrassed that you got it wrong, you're going to hang up the phone or bail out, right? Now you lost an opportunity that had you just owned it, been empathetic with the person and own it. It's 2021, right? This is a game that everybody's familiar with for years. Just own it and be confident, because that's what will sell you. And that person will appreciate it too. A lot of times objections are them they're asking you to give them more. And that's what people don't understand. They think an objection is blocking them, or that botched moment is preventing them from getting somewhere, but it's really not. Just move on and continue to address your call.
Yeah, well, and I think I really like what you said there. It's about the blow past it, right? Like it's like, don't even give the room a chance to really accept the problem or whatever, right? If you blow right past it, they're not thinking about that anymore. They're thinking about, okay, now I've reset. Now it's about a cold call. It's interesting because I worked with a lady out of in the safety world a few years back, and her dad passed away. So her dad started the company, ran the company for like 2 decades or 3 decades, something like that. And so she used to get cold calls all the time from people for her dad, right? And because she had the same number, she took over the company, so she had the same number, right? And so in her case, her dad was her idol, her, everything, and him passing is a real thing for her, and it means something. But in truth, in most cases, the person who passes away is not necessarily related to the prospect you're trying to call, is it?
Right.
Like, so by giving too much empathy, you might be giving empathy to somebody who might have replaced the person and never knew the person.
Well, that, and ultimately it's ingenuine, right? You didn't know the person. It wasn't something, that you were very familiar with. So when you over empathize, you're also looking, fake. You're already giving them a bad sense, right? You just simply acknowledge it, acknowledge what they said. Hey, I get it, unexpected. I apologize for calling you at such a bad time. Yep. But why I do have you, I just wanted to share the reason that I was calling. This is why, right? And then you just get into it and see where they go from there. But you don't want to give those windows of opportunity for them to bail out, right? Like a lot of times people use the opener. Hey, do you have 2 minutes that we could chat? Well, realistically, who's going to say yeah, right? Most of the time they're like, no. You're already getting me an opportunity to stop you here and open that up. Somebody that I know on my team that does a really good job on her calls is she just goes right past that stuff. And she gets her whole spiel out and doesn't give them a chance to say no until she completes what she has to say. And it works well for her because they hear her all the way through and then they're able to carry a dialogue. Whereas if you're opening a cold call right immediately with, hey, do you have a minute? What are you expecting them to say? Like, you really want them to say yeah? Or do you think they're going to? You're giving them a chance to bail out way early on, and you're triggering them to say no already. It's like what's been going on TikTok a lot with a lot of the trends of, hey, I can guess what you're thinking. What's a color? What's a number, right? And they associate these things, and then they ask you a question, and they know what you're going to answer because they've associated so much with it. So when you're associating no, 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 how are you going to get to a yes? Because you're programming them to keep saying no's, where you want to get them to open up with yes right from the gate. And botching a call can happen with a wrong list, bad time. You maybe botch your delivery and opening up the call. You know, a lot of people don't know what goes beyond a podcast, but Jeff and I will shoot it 2-3 times before we even get the opener right?
We botched this Botched Your Call podcast 3 times, 4 times before even recording this. So absolutely.
Absolutely, right? So there's poor delivery, but you got to own that. You got to move forward and be human, empathize, own it, have that confidence. Like, it's okay, right? Maybe you got the wrong name, you got the wrong title. Maybe you caught them at a bad time. You know, a lot of people, when they call a prospect and they say, I'm in a meeting, a lot of the ones that have the confidence, like your post said today, the top successful reps have confidence, motivation, and they know their why. They'll straight up say, cool, put me on speaker. Let me reach the whole room, right? Why is that? Because they're owning that confidence, and they're trying to just get the prospect to move on from that objection, right? Like, they're owning it, and they're like, dude, you're not really in a sales meeting. And if you are, I'm going to own that, and I'm going to be confident to have you put me on speaker. And if you really do call me out, I'm ready. And if you're not, I know you're lying because, or I'm calling you out on your own objection, right? They're going to be like, I'm not really in a meeting, dude. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Well, hey, why have you real quick? This is why I was calling. How about I call you on Tuesday to pick up that conversation? Does Tuesday at 10 o'clock work for you if I give you a short call? And I'll shoot you a follow-up email with some insights on what I was reaching out for, and I look forward to talking to you on Tuesday. Right? Either way, you won that call. Every time you get a connect, you need to take advantage of it, whether it's a gatekeeper, whether it's the wrong person. I've gotten referrals off of a botch call off of the wrong list all the time. I've called somebody and they're like, dude, I haven't worked at that company for over a year. Yeah. Oh, my man, this system is outdated. It hasn't been updated since. Why have you? Do you know who I could actually call over at the company that might have taken on your role or would be in that department now? And they're like, oh, call Jill over there. You can find her on LinkedIn. Her last name's this. She might be somebody to connect with. Now your next email is a referral. Your voicemail is a referral. Now you have that door in because you took advantage of that call that's in front of you. When you get a connect and somebody's on that line, get something out of it. It's okay to botch it, but flip it around, own it, and add some humor too. Self-deprecating in the sales world is the number one tactic you can use, right? Like, oh, man. Yeah, like, oh, dumb me. That's the 4th call in a row that I've got the wrong list. I think something happened in my system. But, hey, while I have you, could you help point me in the right direction so I don't botch, this call doesn't go for nothing. I already had it. Right.
Yeah, no, no, you know what? It's funny. I'm just thinking, like, in emails, it happens the same way, right? Is how many times have you emailed somebody and you get that note back? No, sorry, Tom's no longer with the company.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you do the mail merge wrong, right? And all the names get off by one, I hate to bring him up, but Jason Bay did that 2 months ago, I think. Right. Even some of the biggest thought leaders that we follow, we've all gotten their newsletter. We keep up with it, and it's happened. Saturday morning, you wake up and the email goes out, and it's like, hey, first name. And you're like, oh, they did it. And then they get 20 replies of like, hey, Jason, you messed up, right? Yeah. But what did Jason do? He immediately owned it. He sent a video to everybody in his newsletter, and he didn't do a reply to make it ingenuine. He straight recorded a quick video apologizing to everybody, adding a little bit of humor to it, and got everybody to be all right with it, right? Yeah. And that's okay. Own it because you're human. Mistakes happen. And if you're expecting perfection on a day-to-day, you're living in the wrong world, right? That doesn't happen, especially in sales because lists are wrong. Your data's wrong. You're distracted.
The pressure's up.
The pressure's up, right? So your gears are fried because you're like freaking out. And I know a lot of SDRs out there have anxiety with picking up a phone. I know. I hear you. Yeah. I see you. I understand you. And I know that it's a struggle. But lean into it. Embrace it, right? And own those mistakes because everybody does them. even some of the biggest players in the space have made those mistakes. It's how you flip it and how you own it that's going to win the conversation versus bailing out, right? And hanging up really fast or not getting through it. Because how do you grow also? Then how do you ever change that, right? Then how do you ever fix it if you're just constantly running from it and every time you botch something, you just bail on it? Own it. Be funny. To self-deprecate on yourself, oh, Jeff and Michael, I thought they sounded the same. Ha, 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 right? Like, I thought they were the same. Jekyll. I'll call you Jekyll. How's that, right? Like, and you have a little fun, and now you're laughing, and it's like, hey, Jeff, I really apologize for that. I should have had your name right. But why I do have you, hey, the reason for my call is I was looking at your profile. I know that you're the director there. Would love to share with you some ways to help your team be more effective in emailing,
Yeah.
And you have that fun with them.
That's awesome, Tom. So that's a straight 15-minute crash course in how to deal with a botched call. And just as a recap for all our listeners at home, when you have a botched call, and come on, we've all had one. Every single one of us, botched call, email, whatever. It's either because you have the wrong list, so you're contacting the wrong person. You're contacting the right person, and that person isn't there anymore. Maybe it's because they've moved on from the company. They've passed away. There's several reasons why they're not there anymore. Maybe you caught them at a bad time. They're in the hospital with a catheter up, or they're hopping into a really, really important meeting, that kind of thing. Or, the worst case scenario, you fucked up. You just did it wrong. Just like I botched the start of this podcast 4 times and Tom had to sit there shaking his head at me. Just poor delivery, right? And unlike the podcast, you don't get the ability to take multiple takes, right?
Yep.
So with that said, from the words of wisdom of Tom Slocum, there's 3 things you can do when you're experiencing a botched call. And I'm going to add a precursor to this. Is just first slow down.
Yeah.
Take a step back, don't react, and then do these 3 things. Number 1, be human. Be empathetic. Know that you messed up and know how it interacts with somebody, how they feel about that, and empathize. If it's they're in the hospital, empathize. Sorry about that. If it's somebody passed away, sorry about that. Blah, blah, blah. You get it. Be human, be empathetic. Second, own it. You can be self-deprecating. You can just own it that, hey, you know what? Sorry about that. The reason I called is, and I'm going to part of that is kind of blow past it. You didn't really say that in your top 3 there, Tom, but that's such an important factor I'm going to add in here. And 3 is use humor. Make it funny. Call Jamichael. Talk about how drugged up the person is in the hospital bed and how you're jealous, whatever. Just do something to make it interesting and have a great call. So those are the 3 things you can do if you botch a call. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Good luck and happy hunting. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Fill the Funnel podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite platform, give us reviews, and tell all your friends about us. Till next time, happy hunting.